message which they wanted to send yesterday, which they were unable to send, they are sending that message to the government today. Bernard Mona is here with me. You're live on TV3 and on 3FM. Yesterday you wanted to picket in front of the Jubilee House. That was not possible. You wanted to demonstrate and walk through the Ring Road Central and to the Akwede interchange and make your demands known to the finance minister. That was not agreed upon. But today, you are currently in front of the Jubilee House, and I've seen you throwing your fist to some of the supporters. Is it a feeling that you've been able to send your message across the government with the singing of the national anthem here?
Well, this is the route that we agree with the police. We notify them in our notification, and you will see that as protesters we have conducted ourselves. We are the ones who are leading and telling people where they should pass, and they are complying with our orders. So what happened yesterday clearly indicates that the police were simply armed professionals, and as I repeat, they decided to be infested by the violence of President Akufo-Addo to unleash terror on innocent protesters. Today, guess what? Are you not happy? When I asked the police this morning whether they are going to do what they did to us yesterday, and they said no. See how beautiful it is. See how beautiful it is. So if the police did not start the attack, we will not have gotten to where we got to yesterday. It's so sad that President Akufo-Addo will superintend such violence on innocent protesters. It's unfortunate, but we are happy that the police have decided to take up their professional clothing today. And so far, all we have to do is to commend them for the high level of professionalism displayed. Right. This is what we expect from police. We don't expect them to treat us as if we are nobody. We are seeking for economic relief, right, and that's all about.
In a short while you stood in front of the Jubilee House, you sang and chanted the national anthem. Was that a symbolic message you were seeking to send to the president? Particularly the last line about resisting oppressors' rule.
We will resist oppressors' rule. And I said, let this signal get to President Akufo-Addo. That President Akufo-Addo and the people in power cannot stand the power of the people. So no matter what they do, we will not ourselves to be intimidated by their actions. And that is all we have done. So I beg you, let the president and his team know that we are a determined people and that we are breaking the spirit of Kwame Nkrumah and the other leaders who led this crusade. And we have no doubt that we shall succeed.
Right there, many times, Bernard Mona, he is one of the lead conveners of Arise Ghana with regards to that symbolism which we saw in front of the Jubilee House. They began to march away from the seat of government now, headed towards the Akwede interchange. But he spoke to their decision to stand in front of the Jubilee House and chant the national anthem and particularly repeat the last lines of the national anthem and help us resist oppressors' rule. And for many of them, the reggae music is in now. It's in full force, being blasted as leadership of the demonstrators alike, and the ordinary individuals who made their way here are singing to Bob Marley, singing to Peter Tosh, singing to Carter, seeking to symbolize a message that commemorates to the government as they move away. And so, gradually, we're moving away from the barricaded area. Demonstrators are moving away from the barricaded area where a lot of police personnel with shields and the like were present and were seeking to protect and ensure that nobody made their way towards the seat of government. That appears to have worked, and the demonstrators are moving on now. They are moving on now, and it is continuing unabated. Nothing untoward has happened. A peaceful protest thus far. There's been general understanding with the police, general understanding with coordination, general understanding as to what routes to use, general understanding with even when concerns came up about the use of firearms and individuals possessing firearms, all of that all of that, and more, as you can hear, some of the individuals are appearing to be chasing the current administration and throwing curses and invectives at them, as you could hear in the sound and the background there. But that's the situation currently. They are gradually moving away from the seat of government headed towards the Akwaje interchange, and that's what it's been like. It's been peaceful so far. The last batch of demonstrators who are wielding huge banners, they are still in front of the barricaded area. That I need to mention. They are still close to the barricaded area, but a large number of the crowd have moved away. They have moved away and they are headed towards the Akwaje interchange now as the demonstration and the protest continues. And so that's the current situation here, Samani. It's been an interesting few hours so far. Sights and things that we've seen. Some of the individuals who've made their way here far away from, as far as Adan and the likes, made their way to this place, seeking to send different messages. Traders alike, drivers alike, persons working, corporate entities. I mentioned that yesterday I spoke with a lecturer who came from the University of Development Studies, as far as Tamale. I met him today as well, and he said the message continues to be the same, and that this is active citizen participation in the democracy. That's the message he feels he wants to be a part of. And so it's a cluster of many issues for different people, different concerns, which have all come together and culminated into the Kromayechi demonstration that we're seeing. But they're moving now away from the seat of government, the Jubilee House, and they continue to make their way towards the Akwaje interchange, where and the police will direct. But the major area of concern has been dealt with now, because if you're just joining us on TV3 FM, the major area of concern was what was going to happen when they get to the seat of government, when they get to the Jubilee House. That was a subject matter in contention. That was something that concerns were raised over. Security analysts and the like were hoping to see a new and different approach from the police, and questions were going to be asked if anything went untoward, both from the side of organizers and from the police. But that barrier appears to have been crossed. There is absolute peace and tranquility as the demonstrators make their way away from the seat of government. There was heavy police presence. As we brought to you in your shot, you saw it. There was heavy police presence, and it still continues to remain there. Even as the demonstrators, the last batch move away, there's still heavy police presence. But like I mentioned, the police have, I would say, I don't want to say I've done a good job, but they've barricaded and boxed in the demonstrators. And so even as the last batch move away, you can see the police trucks and buses behind the demonstrators, seeking to quell whatever situation that may arise this particular afternoon. And so we're continuing with the protest, and I must say that they've moved just a few meters away, close to 100 meters away from the demonstrating crowd. When the demonstrating crowd is moving, it's moving away from the Jubilee House. They're just a few meters away, close to 100 meters, as they continue to push away. But there are still a number of them still close to the seat of government, but a majority of them have moved some 50 meters and over away from the seat of government. And for anybody who knows this particular area, which brings you from 37 towards Accra, you can take a turn, pass right in front of TV3 at Adesawe Kanda. You see a lot of the protesters are in their many armbands, red berets and the likes, seeking to send a message to the government. And so, so far so good. So far so good. Some of the trucks are carrying chilled water and giving to the demonstrators, some who are thirsty. And so, interesting, you find a lot of the demonstrators holding bottled water because they are being provided with water, so they do not thirst in their quest to continue to remain on top of their voice. So they do not waver or fail in shouting on top of their voices to send a direct message to government. But the protest is going on, and we continue to march. We're getting closer now to the traffic light right in front of Afritico. That's where we're getting to. And the police continue to lead the protest. They continue to lead the protest this afternoon. The day 2 of Arise Ghana's demonstration. The police continue to be ahead with the Storm police truck, the water cannon truck. That's what's ahead. And then the police officers are